Long ago, on a night when the skies trembled and the winds whispered secrets, a baby's cry echoed through the quiet village of Okenta. It was not just any cry. It was a sound that carried power, a sound that made even the old trees sway. That night marked the beginning of a tale that would shake two kingdoms. The story of Iphany, the child the villagers feared, yet the gods had chosen. Many seasons before that night, a prophecy had spread across Okenta like fire through dry grass. The next king, the village priest declared, will not be born from the royal bloodline. He will come from a humble home. His birth will bring tears, but his destiny will shine brighter than the sun. When those words reached the palace, King Obi's was deeply troubled. He was a man consumed by pride, and fear found a home in his heart. From that very day, he swore to stop the prophecy, whatever it took. In a quiet corner of Okenta lived a poor farmer named Abena. Every morning before the sun rose, he went outside, lifted his hands toward the heavens, and prayed. Great spirits of our ancestors, bless me with a son who will carry my name. Abena already had 3 daughters whom he loved deeply, but his heart yearned for a boy. His wife, Chinlo, gentle and kind, was heavily pregnant, and the village priest had told them that the gods had finally heard their prayers. So Abena treated Chinlo with great care. He made sure she never worked too hard, never went hungry, never walked too far. He believed this child would be the answer to every hope he had ever held. Then came the day that changed everything. It was early morning, and Abena had gone to his farm to tap palm wine, his usual work to feed his family. Back at home, Chinlo's time had come. Her cries filled the air as the midwives surrounded her. "Push, Chinlo, push," they shouted, their voices rising with the rhythm of her pain. At that very moment, a young villager named Tobina ran as fast as his legs could carry him toward the palm grove. He called out, "Enene Abena, your wife is in labor." Startled by the news, Abena slipped. His gourd of palm wine crashed to the ground, and before he could grab hold of the branch, his foot gave way. He fell, and just as his body struck the earth, the cry of a newborn boy echoed from his hut far away. 2 cries, one of life and one of death. When the night came, Chinlo woke from her exhaustion with a faint smile on her face. Her first words were to ask for her husband. "Where is Abena? Has he seen our son?" But no one answered her. The women in the hut looked at one another, eyes filled with sorrow. Chinlo grew frightened. "Why are you all silent? Where is my husband?" Then one of the elders stepped aside, and she saw him, Abena, wrapped in white cloth, lifeless and still. Her scream tore through the air. "No, this cannot be. He promised to hold our son." That night, the heavens seemed to weep with her. As the moon rose over Okenta, the elders gathered outside Chinlo's hut. Their leader, Elder Odu, stepped forward and spoke coldly. "Chinlo, we mourn with you, but the law of our ancestors forbids a child whose father dies on his birthday. It is an abomination." Chinlo's eyes widened with disbelief. "Please, I have lost my husband. Do not take my child too." But the elders would not listen. By the command of their tradition, the baby would be taken away before dawn. Unknown to Chinlo, her child was no ordinary boy. He was the very child spoken of in the prophecy, the one destined to rule. And that was what the king feared most. Among the young men chosen to carry out the elders' orders was Emeka, a gentle soul with a heart that could not bear evil. That night, under the pale moonlight, he carried the baby far beyond the borders of Okenta, into the thick farmlands of the neighboring village, Ajala. When he reached a giant ube tree, he stopped. The child slept peacefully in his arms. Emeka looked down at the boy and whispered, "Little one, forgive me. I cannot harm you. May the gods protect you." He laid the baby gently under the great tree, wrapped him in a small cloth, and walked away with tears streaming down his face. The next morning, when the first light of dawn touched the fields of Ajala, a man named Aarons walked to his farm. He was a humble farmer, tired and poor. The day before, his crops had begun to die, and he had spent the night worrying. But that morning, something strange caught his eye. The crops were greener, fresher, and full of life. He frowned. This cannot be. Then he heard it, a soft, faint cry. He followed the sound and found a newborn baby under the ube tree. Aaron's heart softened instantly. Who would abandon a child here? As he lifted the baby, a gentle wind blew through the field, and the crops bowed as though greeting the child. Aaron took the baby home to his wife, Ngozi, and said, "I found him under the ube tree, and I feel he is a blessing." They named him Ifani, meaning, "Nothing is impossible with the gods." From that day forward, everything changed in Aaron's home. His crops yielded more than ever before. His goats multiplied. Even the rain seemed to come exactly when it was needed. Soon, the people of Ajala began to call Aaron's, the man blessed by the heavens. But with blessings come envy. Whispers spread through the village that a strange child was the secret behind Aaron's sudden wealth. The news soon reached King Obis of Ajala. He was curious, and curiosity turned into greed. He sent his guards to summon Aaron's and the child to the palace. When Aaron's arrived, he bowed respectfully before the king. "Your Majesty," he said. The king studied him. "Aaron's, I hear that fortune has smiled upon you since you found this child. Tell me, is that true?" Aaron's replied humbly, "My king, the gods have indeed blessed me, but I do not know if the blessings come from him or from heaven's mercy." The king smiled slyly. "Then from today, the child shall live in my palace. A boy of such power must belong to the throne." Aaron's heart trembled. "Please, my king, he is like a son to me." The king's expression hardened. "Do you dare question your ruler?" Aaron's lowered his head in silence. The guards took the baby from his arms. The king turned to his royal maid, Ijoma, and ordered, "Care for the boy. From today, he belongs to the palace." Aaron's returned home, silent and heavy-hearted. His wife, Ngozi, ran out to meet him. "Where is the child? Where is Ifani?" "The king has taken him," Aaron said quietly. Ngozi's eyes widened. "He cannot do that. We saved that child. We gave him life." "What power do we have against the king?" Aaron's whispered. But Ngozi clenched her fists. "Then we will find a way. That boy carries light, I feel it. And if the palace has taken him, then our fight has just begun." And so it was that two worlds began to turn under the same sky. In Okenta, Chinlo still mourned her son, the one she never held. Each night, she looked up to the stars and whispered, "If the gods spared you, my son, may they lead you back to me." Meanwhile, in Ajala, the palace gleamed brighter than ever. The king grew richer, but greed had eaten away his soul. Unknowingly, he was raising the very child destined to dethrone him. The same child the world had once cast away. And that is how the story of Ifani, the child of destiny, truly began.